Hello, welcome to my channel. This is going to be a tarot divination reading for the week ahead from March 13th to, let me just check and see when Friday is, March 13th to the 17th. And it's going to be a general reading focusing on the conscious collective. So I actually feel like this is gonna work out much better because daylight savings happened today and I didn't even know that there was a daylight savings. So I missed yoga this morning because I woke up an hour later by accident. But the lighting here seems to be a lot better because it's still light out. So, all right, cool. So this reading, we are going to focus on the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies. So feminine and masculine energies live within us. They integrate between, whether we want to be in our yin or our yang, passive or active energies, fire, air, or water and earth. And so we are constantly learning lessons between these two energies as spiritual beings. So I am going to take a look and see what is going on with the divine feminine energies this week ahead. What are the soul lessons? And I'm going to take a look and see what's going on with the masculine energies. What are their soul lessons? Then we are going to take a look at the recent past. So anything like, a day ago, a few hours ago, could be, a week ago. It could be a month ago. Take it how it resonates with you. When you see this reading, you were meant to see it. So just pull up a chair and take what is for you. And if not, leave the rest behind. Then we're going to take a look at your present energies. We're going to take a look at your physical state. So you know how you go through the day, your physical feelings, your physical reality, the time, the energy, the money you put into something. This deck is very extremely powerful on the psyche, and I chose it because I am in this perfect state. So your physical state, emotional state, sorry. So your physical state is the time, the energy, the money you put into something, how you're coming off in the world, your physical reality, how you're feeling, your health, etc. Then your emotional state. How are you feeling? What are you going through at this time? How are you processing your emotions? And so on. Just trying to fix this lighting here so you don't see too much of that glare. Then we're going to take a look at the mental state. What are you dealing with the mind? This could be your fears. This could be any type of confusion you may have. Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling at peace? How are you communicating your thoughts, etc.? And your spiritual state. What are your soul lessons at this time? What is your soul going through? How are you maneuvering through the spirit world, etc.? Then we will take a look at your near future. So this could be any time after you have finished processing all of this present energy within the week. And it will be, an hour from now. It could be a day from now. It could be a week from now. It really just depends on how long it takes you to process this and make a soul decision. So it will be the near future. All right, that's wonderful. So I'm just going to show you guys quickly which deck I'm using. I love this deck, but I only use it, when I'm on God's lettuce. So given that this is the occasion, I decided that this would be the perfect deck to use during the stream, the Metaphysical Cannabis Oracle deck. I love this deck. I always have amazing visions when I'm looking at this. So if you are interested in this deck is by Sterling Ethos. I love her style. I love the way that she interprets the cards. I went through the guidebook quite a bit, but I'm going to use my own intuition reading the cards myself, but overall, really well done. So definitely one of my favorite decks. You can purchase this deck most likely in my About Me section if you go to the Amazon in the store. If you purchase from that link, I will get a small commission, but it is still very kind. Okay, so let's start and see what's going on with the masculine energies this week. What is the masculine learning at this time? So I'm just gonna kind of fix the focus. It's much better when there is kind of like a light, but I just don't want too much glare, so I'm gonna have to figure out, maybe that's a little better. It's the placement of the lights. Thank you. Okay. Oh, okay. Learning something new. Yep. I'm sorry, guys. Great. You know, it's a process, so you get to learn my process. All right, so let me just fix the... Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on with the masculine energies for the week ahead. What's going on with the masculine energies for the week ahead? I love this already. The world always finds a way to praise and a way to blame. The wise continually praise. The wise continually praises. I've actually been seeing this energy quite a bit, and just in my own personal world, I would pull these cards and I would just get this all the time. So I definitely resonate with that quite a bit. Find friends who love the truth, drink deeply, live in serenity and joy. Yeah, oh, man, definitely. So I'm just gonna go into that a little bit because I am kind of feeling that energy quite a bit. Sometimes when we are kind of in our egos and, you know, we're dealing with our own pain, we're dealing with our own insecurities, we're dealing with our own low fortunate moments, it's easy to, you know, take the responsibility off of ourselves and blame another party, to blame, you know, a circumstance or a reason for why you're not in this place or you're not doing well in this place. And it is easy to become very negative and start to kind of project that on others. But I feel like in this case, the masculine energy is learning that no matter what state he is in, so no matter whether he is, you know, sad or dealing with a lot of bad or pain or in his light, he doesn't project that on others and still finds ways to be kind and praise others' successes. I feel like that's really important because you realize that your state of in which you show love does not change based off of your, you know, internal shadows or ego limitations or any type of pain that you could be kind of holding on to. Instead, you realize that, you know, you got to show love and support and promote this kind of praise and being proud and you know, celebrating other people's successes, even when internally inside you could be kind of feeling like you are lacking in that type of victory. So I feel like if the masculine are kind of learning to step into that kind of honest role, and it's not about lying or not being honest about what you're going through. I feel it's more about stepping into that place of grace that is so deep that becomes your truth, because you would want your supporters or people that truly love and care about you to be able to love and support you no matter what, to be able to be honest in their expression, and that honest expression is really love, pure love, because they love themselves. So even when you're not in that place of like doing well, you find a state where you still love yourself, knowing that your journey is your journey and other people's journey is their journey, and you are still able to love and be supportive and proud no matter, you know, any type of struggle that you may be going through. And this actually helps, you know, dissolve feelings of envy or jealousy or blame or pain or fear that could be kind of creeping up from you inside and creating a hate energy as opposed to a love energy. So I really resonate with that. I feel like once you're able to really kind of step into that place where you know that your journey is your own and your expression is your own, and by doing so you can truly kind of be like, you know, regardless of whether this person has this and I don't have that, I'm still really in love with my life and who I am, even when I'm not doing so good or so well, or in a place where I want to be. So I feel like the masculine is kind of like going through that energy. Let's take a look at the feminine. Show me what's going on with the feminine energies. Show me what's going on with the feminine energies. What's going on with the feminines? Oh, you got two cards, feminine. Let's look within for a place of rest, your temple of the heart. Yeah, totally. Cultivate perfection of wisdom. No fire, poison, sword, and water can harm you. Wow. Wow. Oh my God. All right, and at the bottom. The loving kindness you show to others returns to you as grace. I couldn't even say that. I felt like a 6-year-old when I fucking said that. The loving kindness you show to others returns to you as grace. So I literally just kind of described the feminine energy a little bit in the masculine energy. Because the masculine steps into a place where they are the emperor. When they are in their highest expression, they are this emperor energy that is in control of their emotions, their actions, their thoughts, and the way that they build instability wise. So no matter what is going on outside of them, so whether they are feeling the emotions of others and that activates some sort of, you know, fire within them, or they are feeling the thoughts or the communications of others, or or they're feeling the moves of others, so like their practicalities and what they do, that doesn't move the emperor. Like that doesn't move the masculine energy in his highest, you know, expression, because he knows who he is. So he knows that he is a leader in his own right, and he guides in the right direction, you know, regardless. So he's kind of like this expressionalist, present, supportive, conscious individual that knows that, you know, others' successes is his success, even if it doesn't really show that way right away. So he is able to kind of praise and be wise to do that. And on the other side of things, the feminine is learning to be kind and showing others that she is kind, no matter, you know, the complications that another person's behavior may have on her, or the way that they may be behaving that could trigger a certain ego or a certain issue. She is still able to be kind as a result and finding grace in that. And by doing so, she can then kind of step into her heart and really, really realize, like, okay, you know, I find peace when I'm really truly in my heart and I am able to fully express my emotions and be completely in that moment, in love with life, in love with myself, whether I am, you know, not doing well or doing great, it doesn't matter. Those emotions come through consciously from the heart, and at that point I have peace, right? So I feel like by doing that, the feminine is kind of learning to have real wisdom, because she has connected with her shadows. She's able to kind of look at that shadow aspect of herself that could have otherwise reacted and turned another leaf, because she attaches to her expectations. But as opposed to doing that, she learns that, you know, those expectations come from being attached to a particular element, right? Fire, poison, sword, and water, which are all the 4 elements of nature. And instead, she learns to kind of put that in her own state, in control, and thus being able to know that she is also in control of those elements and can, in fact, act or be from a state of knowing, you know, built of character, personality, all of those things. Hope I'm making sense. I just kind of blabbled in there all of my thoughts. All right, cool. So that's like, you know, that's deep. It's deep stuff. All right. You know, this is why I'm able to kind of give readings even when, you know, there's only one person watching. Because I know that what I am feeling or what I am saying is true. Like, I know that the information that I am receiving from the divine, from the collective that I'm channeling is true. And eventually, you know what I mean? Even if it's one person that reads it and says, you know, that is what I'm going through, I would say that is a big win. Like, for me, that's a big win, because I see that every day with my clients. Like, I see it when I'm channeling information and they call me and literally, like, a whole entire experience or event that I have channeled throughout, like, the last 3 days sometimes. Like, 3 days, I'm like, what is going on? I'm going crazy right now. Like, what is this? And literally, like, you know, on the 3rd day, I will have one client that will call me, and she will call me for like the next, you know, a couple of times in one day, and then a couple of times in the next day, literally having a reading on exactly what I've channeled for the last 3 days. It's like, you know, I'm going through the process before I even deliver the information. So I know it's there, and it's stemming from that place. Man, I used to look at the devil kind of in the wrong way. Like, I would say to myself, the devil is, you know, it's wrong. You know, in most religions, like oh man, I'm really going into it now. In most religions, like, you know, the implications of history shows that religion has always entered this kind of dogmatic state, and especially kind of in you know, in every religion, but, you know, we've seen it in Christianity, how they made out to the pentagon, for example, the pentagram, to be evil, you know, kind of a symbol of the devil, and which is not true. The devil is just an earth energy. It's just an earth element, you know what I mean? And the pentagram is a symbol of earth. It is just our connection to those 4 elements in which we are connected to and intertwined with, most definitely. And that is not, you know, a theory. It is not an idea. It is the truth. It is science. We are energetically connected, you know what I mean, through ATP, through wavelength, through frequency. Science proves that is all real, that matter moves within us, you know, through thoughts, through air, through wind, through fucking water, oceans, emotions, feelings. We feel the turbulent oceans all the time, and the oceans feel us. And that is proven in physical sciences, in earthquakes. When the world has an earthquake, you think that we are not having earthquakes ourselves all over the world? Everybody is having spiritual earthquakes, metaphoric earthquakes. We are consistently resonating with the planet. We are always connected to the elements. So you know, the devil being looked at as something that is evil is really, you know, just a unfortunate label created by religions that took scripture too far and needed to create power over it, and as opposed forgot the actual freedom that comes with being connected to the earth, being connected to the elements, being connected to the magic of it all, and learning to utilize it for good, because we see that we actually utilize it for bad in our world. Hence why we have too much plastic, hence why we have, you know, war and chaos, and we have, you know, dogmatic government, you know, hidden information, a ton of things, you know what I mean, ton of evil, you know what I mean, in the world, criminals in the world that are all, you know, using magic for the wrong reasons. While, you know, technically it's just depending on whether we want to choose to be good or we want to choose to be bad, and that really determines the state of the magic that surrounds us. So the earth energy. All right, so I really went out there. Okay, let's get back into the reading. I'm like, this isn't a podcast, this is a tarot reading, but I mean, I was led there, so what can you do? Okay, Spirit, so show me what's going on in the past. Sometimes it's better to just be free, you know what I mean? Instead of finding a structure that, you know, carries wounds and labels and a rigidity and doesn't actually allow the free flowing of things, right? Because what's good and bad is not necessarily written in a rule book, but is something that is felt from within. Because once you connect to the divine, once you connect to God, to the spirit of the world, that goodness is natural. It's not something that is, you know, forced on you. It's something that comes from inside. And once you are able to manifest that inside spiritual connection with the divine, choosing good is a natural state. It's not something that you have to read in a scripture in order to receive. But obviously there's no judgment in religion, because I love all religions. All religions have something to share. All religions have truth in them, because they all are written by spiritual prophets that experience those type of spiritual evolutions that are in such high frequencies and are written, you know, in a scripture, in a book. But the problem is that when it is put in the wrong hands, it is put into the wrong hands of, you know, powerful individuals who have not done the actual true spiritual work, but instead have read a scripture and manipulated in order for it to work for them. Then we have an issue, and that's where we see, you know, diversity, we see separation, we see pain, we see fear, we see chaos, we see war, we see control, we see feministic issues, we see, you know, rigidity, we see pain, oh man, undervalue, narcissism, manipulation, gaslighting, violence. I mean, the list goes on. So, all right. All right, so let's start looking into the past energy. I'm sure there's a purpose for all of this. I'm sure. All right, so let's take a look at the past. Show me the past, Spirit. The past. Wow. I'm serious. Okay, so at the bottom we have, let me just show this so that you guys can see it. Okay, so this actually goes like really deep into everything that I kind of talked about, because, you know, we see a lot in certain cultures and certain religions, and I literally just talked about that. I just really want the screen to see everything perfectly, because I'm getting a little frustrated that some things here are being blurred. Okay, just give me a second here. I'm not... Okay, perhaps it's the lighting. Sorry, my friends. In this reading, if you really want to get the benefits of it, you're just going to have a little bit of patience with me. All right, great. So in the past energy, I just kind of talked about how certain religions are taken too far into kind of a dogmatic state, and that's where we see the issues, and feminist issues and all of this stuff. So in the past, I feel like, even just the feminine, feminine and masculine doesn't matter, but learning to embody a healthy sense of sexuality, because our bodies, our senses, we are meant to feel those sexual responses and being really kind of in tune with our body, being connected to movement, being connected to flow. And that is how we create real art. When we are really connected to our sexuality, we are able to create true art, true expression. We are able to really kind of feel and be. But you know what I mean, if, let's say, because crystal technology kind of talks about generational trauma, generational karma, these binds or structures that have been implemented to us through traditions or ideas or beliefs that are not necessarily wrong or right, but they bind us to a certain reality that limits our true expression. So in the past, you may have kind of really taken recognition that perhaps this generational trauma or idea that has been labeled by society, or perhaps your spiritual upbringing or your religion, that shows or says that you are wrong to connect to your sexuality and express the true flow of your femininity. That is wrong, that is evil, right? That is, you're asking for it. You're seducing mankind for doing that. You're showing the world that what you're giving out is, I want to say a lower part of your embodiment. But instead, you are empowering your sexuality and still learning to flow within that, while still carrying really strong boundaries and understanding that it has nothing to do with what society believes. That is the issue, is that it is their label or needing to control, let's say, this kind of feminine energy that keeps you from truly coming out and expressing your true flow of senses, your true femininity, your true flow expression of your spirit, really being in that art form. So that's some real deep stuff that I'm like connecting with here. Okay, cool. So let's take a look now at the physical state. So what's going on in your present energy in the physical state? And this limits like a sense of freedom. It creates, self-judgment. It makes, the feminine energy feel guilty for wanting to truly, fully embody her full-on expression. She becomes ashamed of her body and the way that it wants to move, the way that it wants to flow to her senses, because she has been told by a certain rule book that is not okay. So really learning to truly embody those emotions and swim with the dolphins, right? Really flow and be in that state of bliss and feeling the true expression of your spirit. Now that is real power and empowerment and freedom, especially when you know who you are, you know your worth, you know your value. You understand that as you're doing this isn't a definition of, who you are to society. This is just an embodiment of your true expression within your spirit. And that is empowering, because that takes a lot of knowing of who you are, confidence, strong self-esteem, just truly being in that flow without fear of judgment, because there's so much judgment in society on women energy, on feminine energy, which impacts male and females. All right, so let's take a look. This is a deep reading. It's because, oh yeah, it's because we're going through fasting right now. Okay. We're going through fasting in several different religions right now. Okay, so let's take a look now at the physical state in the present moment. Let's take a look at the physical state in the present moment. What is the conscious collective dealing with this week in the physical state? What is the conscious collective dealing with this week in the physical state? Nurture. Oh my God, absolutely. Wow, this is phenomenal. This is some amazing stuff. So, okay, let's just get some focus on here. Come on, camera, work with me, work with me. Okay, there we go. So in the physical state right now, you are being asked to, take a look at your body. How are you feeling? Do you understand that by nurturing your emotions and being truly embodied in your body, knowing when to move, yoga, movement, exercise, self-care, taking a bath, sleeping, napping, eating healthy, drinking lots of water, resting, meditating, all of these things nurture our physical body. They nurture our spiritual body. They nurture our mental body. Being in nature and all of these things, and just taking time to be still, to be. You can see here how she is just still and she's embodied in nature, in plants. This is a real energy of self-care. And when you're able to love yourself, you're able to kind of fill yourself up with those emotions, fill yourself up with those senses, and learn to release yourself from all of these binds that hold you from falling. And I mean, really falling into your true embodiment of who you are, really being in this kind of sensual and connected to your body, mind, and soul without judgment or fear of being kind of interpreted in the wrong way. Just really falling into it and letting it all just go, letting go of all the resistance, letting go of all of the fear, the pain, and all of those things that might come through it, so you can allow alignment to come through, right? So you're nurturing yourself this week in order for you to truly embody that essence without judgment, without fear of expressing yourself. Yeah. Show me what's going on in the emotional state this week. Show me what's going on in the emotional state this week. Memory. Oh my God, yeah. So I'm kind of feeling here as you learn to connect with your emotions, you are activating a certain memory center in your DNA that shows you, your true expression when you are in your heart chakra, when you are in your emotions. And this kind of puts you in a place that's very lucid. So she's a mermaid and she's obviously in the ocean here, and her hair is wild and she has snakes that are surrounding her, and she's also kind of swimming through this lucid state. But she is so vibrantly connected to all of this energy around her that she is able to kind of be in that state and really remind herself of who she truly is, right? She activates these memories from past lives, these memories of ancestors who have been here before us, in the bloodline, in the genetics. It really doesn't matter. And that kind of allows you to be guided in the right direction in order to kind of manifest your true expression of who you really are. So let's take a look at the mental state for the week ahead. I knew this reading was going to be very very, very deep, but I didn't think that it would be this deep. Let me take a look at the mental state. Seduction at the bottom. I knew it was going to come out eventually. So you got grace. So in your mental state, again, the feminine is really learning to give loving kindness to others and seeing that it returns in grace, right? Regardless of what she could be dealing with when it comes to her ego attachments and her expectations that are, you know, seducing her in the material reality, because we all want to be connected to the earth in some way, and we all want to place that pentacle in any type of foundational crack we may feel we want to build on in order to kind of, you know, find our way and grow in this world. And that becomes very seductive. It is a form of seduction where we become separated a little bit from spirit because we start to form expectations or attachments to certain desires, and that's natural. But it's about learning to not let this take over you, right? It's not about running away from this shadow aspect or this earth element. It's about looking at it and not letting it take over you, being aware of it and still being able to act from a place of grace and dignity and integrity and peace and love, right? Because you understand that, you know, you receive everything you're supposed to receive. Abundance comes in different forms. Everybody has their own path. Everybody has their own time. And it's really about being able to embrace your own journey, even if it's not the same as someone else's, and allowing others to embrace their own journey, even if it's not the same as yours, and just kind of taking things as they go without being too attached to any type of expecting outcome based off of your belief systems or any type of attachment you have created in the material plane. Deep. All right, let's take a look at the spiritual state for the week ahead. Card for the spiritual state. Bliss. I totally feel this. I feel this so much. So today I kind of I went through a state where, you know, I smoked a little bit of God's lettuce and I got a little high and high up there, connecting, meditating. And I started to really dive into my body. I've been practicing yoga and I've been following a certain structure. I've been following a certain religion, right? I've been following a certain pattern, discipline, all of these things, and I still plan on doing that. But today, you know, I haven't just been practicing yoga. I've been practicing martial arts. I've been practicing animal flow. I've been practicing dance, and now it's starting to kind of just come into my body. I'm starting to feel everything flow through me, and today I actually managed to just really surrender into my body and flow without any type of judgment about how it comes out or how it looks. And it came naturally to me. There was no at this time I'm gonna do, you know, the dancer's pose, you know. It was just automatically I fell into it, and then I would fall into another one, and then I just find myself suddenly starting to move and dance with my soul. And this energy is exactly that. I am just moving with nature, connecting to, you know, forms of strength and power while I'm still floating with the animals, with the ego, and flying, being able to see in the dark, and being able to, you know, really connect with the ground and the earth and the elements and the channeling that I'm receiving from the collective and the emotions that I'm receiving from my environment, and being able to feel that in my soul and express that in a form of movement. And it's just complete freedom, right? You're just completely letting go. And I am just blown away like blown away on how that feels so right. Like it just feels so right. So this week it could be really learning to kind of like release this old structural thing placed in your belief systems, in your past upbringing, and learning to be more free. And I feel too, like, I don't want to say that you're saying like that's not right, because through yoga I have learned that the structure, the rules are still important. It's still important to kind of gain that habitual pattern. You know what I mean? Whatever faith you believe in, or whatever religion you believe in, or any type of hierarchy that you are studying, everything takes practice. It takes repetition. You got to first kind of plant that seed, as long as it's in a healthy way, of course, in a healthy way. And then when you start to connect to your spiritual body and you start to flow, then you can kind of free yourself then from that structure and allow it to become a part of you, right? It becomes a part of you. So that's kind of like what I'm getting at here is, I feel like as a society, especially now where we are at, we're learning to kind of put the rule book, so old traditions and religions and all of these things, together with our spirituality. I feel like that was missing for a very long time, and now we're kind of learning to integrate those things. Or perhaps it's just become more evident now because we are all going through a spiritual evolution as a collective. We're all learning to kind of free ourselves from any type of binds that may bind us to a certain belief, to a certain state of power, because we're becoming more aware of evil and what that truly looks like, and more aware of good and what that truly looks like, because we're finding that within ourselves by doing the necessary shadow work, and thus being able to see the mirror outside of us and knowing then how to maneuver and go in a different direction. So, this reading isn't about, turning your back on your religion or turning your back on a certain belief that you grew up with. It's actually about facing that and looking at that seed and then asking yourself where it's helped you build and where it has restricted you, and thus making certain necessary adjustments and kind of dissolving some of those boundaries in order to be able to find a healthy flow. All right. So let's take a look at the future. Let's take a look at the future. So the near future is, again, after you have gone through this process of releasing and truly embodying all of your senses, your near future will be, an hour from now, a day from now, a week from now, a month from now, however long it takes to go through all of this. Show me what's going on in your spiritual state, the conscious collective spiritual state. In the future state. In the future state, apologies. I was asking Spirit the wrong question. What's going on in the future, in the near future for the conscious collective? Okay. Totally. And at the bottom, you got miracles. Yeah. So I feel like after you kind of go through this release and you're releasing this old idea of yourself, this old belief, or not necessarily releasing the belief, but taking it with you and freeing yourself of it. Like being able to let go, but still take it with you. You open a door. So you open a door, you enter the gateway, and you're able to kind of create that vision outside of you, that state where you are taking a part of you and who what you were taught that you are. And you're able now to integrate that with your soul, with your spirit, who you are becoming, and create that path to your heart, because this is a heart right here. So that path to the divine, really connecting truly with your spirit, with the divine, like really connecting to that release of all attachments, because God has no labels, God has no attachments, God has no you know, judgments or labels and things like that. It is man who has, is humanity who has created a label or a definition of something by writing it down, by finding, you know, a form to communicate it, to express it, to label it. Even me right now, by, you know, talking about this stuff, there is a little bit of dogmatic energy being placed here, because you can't escape it. We have to be able to ground the ethereal and spiritual energy somehow, but it's about how we interpret it and where it lands and how it lands that matters. So being able to kind of free yourself from that is how we really truly connect to the divine, and thus we are able to create a positive vision for the world. All right, so so, you know, that is the week ahead. I really hope you guys enjoy the reading as much as I enjoyed it. One moment. I can't talk while this car is yonking, barking. All right. Totally. So thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you would like a personal reading, just book a session with me in the link above. If you are lucky, you might find me online and you can just kind of call me online for a psychic reading. I specialize in tarot divination, oracle reading, and astrology, as well as dream analysis. So whatever you choose, it's all good. I am looking forward to seeing where this all goes, because, you know, every week the readings feel better. I feel more connected. I feel more in flow. And I know eventually I will reach the right individuals. So I look forward to growing with you, and talk soon. I'll see you guys tomorrow at yoga. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.